when we cut this anther, now this is the stamen, that is the male reproductive organ of a plant. When we cut this anther vertically, then we will see the pollen grains present inside this portion. This is the filament that bears the anthers. Now, in this diagram, we can see the carpel or pistil, that is the female reproductive organ of a plant. Now, this reproductive organ has stigma, the uppermost part that receives the pollen grain. Here we have pollen grains, they fall on the stigma. Then they travel from stigma through the style. Okay, from style they enter to the ovary. Now the ovary contains ovule and they have female gamete known as the egg. Here placenta is the attachment between the ovary and the ovules. Okay, the attachment between ovary and ovule is known as placenta. There is one more tube present between the style, which is known as the pollen tube. Now this pollen tube is the straw-like structure which is present inside this style. It travels from stigma through style and then enter the ovary and till the ovule. Now this small straw-like tube is known as the pollen tube. Now the sex reproductive organs are also known as the sex organs. So in flowers we have male and female reproductive organs or sex organs. The reproductive or sex organs are stamen and carpel or pistil. When we are talking about the cells, the reproductive cells or sex cells, or you can say the gametes, sex gametes, then we will call them as pollen grains and ovule or egg. Now this diagram again shows you the structure of your pistil. This is the stigma. Over the stigma we have the pollen grain. Then this pollen grain travels through the style and enters, it reaches the placenta. Okay, placenta, this blue colored part is known as the placenta, which is the attachment between the ovules and the ovary. This green colored portion is ovary. तो ovary और ovule के बीच का जो attachment है, this attachment is known as placenta. Now let us talk about fertilization in flowers. Fertilization is the process in plants which gives rise to the new plant, the base of the new plant, or you can say from where the new plant germinates, that is the seed. Now how this seed is formed through this process of fertilization? The very first step in this process is the pollination. Now pollination is nothing but the transfer of pollen grain from anther to stigma of a flower. When this pollen grain is transferred from the anther, that is the male reproductive part or the stamen, from the anther, when it is passed on to the stigma of a flower, then it is known as pollination. Now there are two types of pollination, namely self-pollination and cross-pollination. Self-pollination is also known as autogamy, means the gametes fuse together and these are the self gametes. Auto means self, self means of the same flower. So when the anthers of a flower are transferred, when the pollen grains of a flower transfer from anther to the stigma of the same flower, then it is known as autogamy or self-pollination. When the same flower is concerned, it is self-pollination. Cross-pollination, on the other hand, also known as allogamy, is transfer of pollen grains from anther of a flower to the stigma of another flower, or anther of a flower to the stigma of another flower of another plant. Means this cross pollination may happen between different flowers of the same plant and also different flowers of different plants. Now this cross pollination could be natural as well as artificial. When it is occurring naturally in the environment or in nature, when it occurs automatically or self, then it is known as natural cross pollination. When it is man made, it is known as artificial cross pollination. Now this artificial cross pollination gives us more chances of variations, hence it is preferable over self pollination. The process of fertilization in the flowers takes place like this. The very first thing is, through the pollen tube, the 2 pollen grains at a time enter the ovule. Now this is the ovule. So 2 pollen grains at the same time enter an ovule. When these two enter, what happens? The pollen, the ovule has a secondary nucleus. This is the secondary nucleus, and here we have the egg cell. Okay, so one of the pollen grains rupturing the outer covering of the ovule, it enters to the egg cell and it fuses with it to form a zygote. When the egg cell and pollen grain fuses with each other, it forms a zygote, and this process is known as fertilization. Now this is fertilization, that is the fusion of male, that is pollen grain, and female, that is egg cell, gametes. The fusion of male and female gamete is known as fertilization, and due to this fusion a zygote is developed. Now here the second pollen grain, what happens to this one? It fuses with the secondary nucleus and it forms the endosperm nucleus. The secondary nucleus is converted into an endosperm nucleus. Now these two are a part of a zygote. Fine. Then what happens to this endosperm nucleus is it occupies the entire space in the ovule and it forms the endosperm. And what happens to this zygote? This zygote undergoes multiple cell divisions and it forms the embryo. Now embryo is a mass of many cells all together. Okay, when one cell undergoes multiple cell divisions and forms a mass of cells, this is known as the embryo. Embryo is surrounded by the endosperm. Now this embryo and endosperm, they combinedly make a structure known as a seed. Now this seed stays in dormant state. Dormant means it is not developing. Okay, so it stays in dormant stage till all the conditions are not favorable. Means the temperature, the atmospheric water, presence of water, sunlight, nutrients, if all are present, then only the seed will germinate. If not, it will stay in the dormant state. Now each of the single ovule present in the ovary is converted into a seed, what happens to the complete ovary? Now, this complete ovary is converted into a fruit. The ovary is converted into a fruit. Now, during this formation of ovary into fruit or conversion of ovary into fruit, what happens to the different whorls of a flower? All the different whorls present apart from this ovary, they fall off. Means the sepals, the petals and the anthers, they all fall off from the flower, and all the nutrition is occupied or utilized by the ovary to form to a fruit. Now the ovary wall, this wall of the ovary is converted into the pericarp. Pericarp is nothing but the eatable outside thin layer present around the fruit, and each of the ovary is ovule is converted into the seed. Now this is the complete food which contains the pericarp, means edible outside thin layer. Edible means which can be eaten, which we can eat. Then ovules are converted into seed, and rest of the structure is converted into the pulp, the fruit pulp. Now this is the process of fertilization where ovary is converted into fruit. Now let us see the different parts of a seed. Now what actually happens after this fruit is formed to the seed? When the fruit is eaten by the plants, or the fruit is eaten by the animals or different human beings, or it may also scatter due to birds or other creatures. Now this then will give rise to a new plant, and this method is known as, this process is known as germination. So let us see what happens to the parts of a seed in the process of germination. First of all, the seed is the reproductive unit of a plant. What is a seed? It is the reproductive unit of a plant. That means from this seed, the new plant can germinate or arise. Now here we have a dicot seed. Dicot means the seed having two cotyledons. Means if we have a single seed and we cut that seed into two halves, not with the knife, we can cut it through our nail as well, then it is known as cotyledon. For example, if we have rajma bean, garbanzo beans, then they are dicotyledons, means, or dicot. Okay, dicotyledons means they have two cotyledons or two similar structures present inside the seed coat. When we open the seed coat, the two same similar structures will come out. Now this is the attachment. This portion is the attachment of between these two cotyledons. Now from this attachment, what happens due to germination? When all the conditions are favorable, the seed starts to germinate from this portion, and this is known as plumule and radicle. One portion gives rise to plumule, other portion gives rise to radicle, and these two combinedly, when developed, they form a new baby plant. Okay, so parts of a seed are seed coat, which is present outside the seed. Here we have removed the seed coat, then only we can see the two cotyledons. Then both the cotyledons are attached to a small structure. Now from this structure, plumule and radicle arises. Now let us see what happens to this plumule and radicle when the seed is getting germinated. So the germination of seed starts from the seed coat. When all the conditions are favorable, the seed coat splits, okay, or it opens up and gives rise to two structures known as radicle and plumule. Now one of the structure, that is the radicle, it gives rise to the root. It is developed into root, and the plumule will develop into shoot and gives rise to green leaves. Like this we will get a new plant arising from an old plant seed. Okay, the seed gives rise to the new plant with green leaves and roots. So with this we have completed sexual reproduction in flowering plants. If you have any doubts, you can ask me, and I will be highly obliged if you understand and ask me your doubts. Thank you, students.